Arvell.
Yes, sir.
It's a heck of a win today.
Appreciate that, boss.
Such a hot start, and defensively you were a big key. Finished with 3 sacks. What was that like getting to the quarterback? I mean, second straight home game where we saw that defensive line just continue to get after the quarterback.
I mean, my interior guys take on a lot of double teams so I can eat. So it's really just everybody doing their job, and somebody gonna make the play, and it just happened to be me a couple times tonight. So.
Yeah, you talk about those interior guys. I feel like one guy I always see when looking back to the box score is Nano.
Yes, sir.
Nano Contreras. What has he meant to this team?
It's a big part, because he holds down that middle. He don't really, even when he getting double team, triple team, he holds his ground. He knows how to hold a gap. My boy be making plays. Yeah, it's Nano a big factor for sure. If we didn't have him, you'll know the difference.
4 interceptions tonight, mainly in big part because of that pass rush. I mean, that quarterback just had no time at all. What does it mean to see your playmakers make those plays behind you while you guys are getting after the quarterback?
I love to see it. It just means we on the same page. We all on the same page, moving as one. Everybody locked in. Like I said, doing your job. So hey, you do your job. Somebody gonna eat, and it just so happened to be my back guys making them interceptions, and my dog Isiah got him a tutty off of one. So, we love to see that.
This team has really been playing in sync for pretty much all year, but especially the last 2 to 3 weeks, where the offense is scoring, the defense is getting stops. How is each week do you guys continue to build as one team, even though you guys are obviously have different goals when you're out on the field?
I think it's because we respect each other so much at practice. Like, we especially this week, we had a really good 2 days of work days, and you can tell both offense and defense were focused, locked in, and everything was clicking. So once you do that, and if you ask me, defense goes against the best offense in the country, offense goes against the best defense in the country every day at practice. So we go out in the field, we know we fight each other all day at practice. Go out in the field, we know everybody gonna go to battle for each other. So it's nice being on the same page and locked in with the offense. It's really fun when we all locked in like that.
Well, another week of the top 2 units on each side of the ball battling for a road trip again. What did you guys learn in that first road trip and that first win that you guys are going to take as you get ready for Arkansas after?
We just gotta, no matter bus ride, plane, whatever it is, we gotta be locked in. We gotta know that we're gonna have a little adversity. Some guys not comfortable on the bus, some guys might not be comfortable on the plane, whatever the case may be. But we just gotta make sure that we know what the purpose of the trip is and stay true to it.
All right, thank you, Arvell.
Thank you, appreciate it, boss.
Isiah, thanks for being here. Yep. 2 weeks ago, we were sitting right here talking about a great performance by yourself on the defense, and we get to do it again. Especially over the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, why has your defense been so dominant and just shutting it down early, and your offense then builds that lead and it just feels impossible?
I think after that first game, you feel me, we had that bad taste in our mouth, didn't get that win, didn't play as well as we wanted to, so we just came together as a group, met every meeting, and we just had to get what we had to get done. You feel me? Like, it's just where we was playing was unacceptable. We had to pick the pace up, and I feel like these last 4 weeks we've been doing that.
You guys get off to another hot start again. Yeah. Why is it so important to get out that lead? Not only did the offense put the points on the board, but you guys went out there and had no opportunity.
Nah, it's just like when things are going well for the team, it just gives us great momentum, and all we can do is build on that. So, I mean, when we keep scoring and scoring, it just builds everybody's confidence, makes everybody feel like they're capable of making every play they can. So, yeah.
4 different guys with interceptions, including yourself.
Yeah.
You got yourself a big 6.
Got a little touchdown.
What's that like getting in the end zone?
I mean, like Vale was saying, it's nothing without the blitz from the line. So, I mean, that played a big part in it. Mateo got his hand on the ball. So, all I did was just make the play that was put in place for me to make. So, I'm just thankful for my teammates for putting me in that position.
Mateo, he got an interception as well that he almost scored on.
Almost did.
2 other guys get their interception and plenty of plays on the ball, too, pass breakups. Like, what is it like when you guys are flying around like that and making plays on the ball?
It just keeps the tempo at a fast pace. Like you were saying, it builds confidence, like back to the tempo. It's just when we're making plays, we get turned up on the sidelines and turned up on the field, and it just puts us in a great place as a defense. So, yeah.
Chance to prepare for your second road test in the year. What did you guys learn from that first trip? You guys got the big win, and how are you going to use it to prepare for this next week?
We got to play 4 quarters of football. We got to a hot start the first half against Wayland, and then we kind of let them get back in the game. We ended up shutting the deal off, closing the door on them, but we just can't get complacent with whatever lead we have. We have to keep playing no matter what the score is. So, yeah.
Any questions? Excellent, Isiah. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
All right, Jalien. Well, a great night for yourself,
Yes,
a great night for the offense. Let's start with the offense and how fast you guys started. 35 points in that first quarter, 49 points in the first half. Why was it so important for you guys to jump out to that start?
I mean, we try to start fast every time, and it goes to practice. We practice fast. We practice faster than we do in the game, honestly, it feels like. And we just try to get out there and jump on them early because we know we needed to run up the score a little bit.
For yourself, you had yourself a touchdown as well, 89 yards on 6 catches. How are you able to get down the field and get open like you do and just continue to make those big plays?
Yes, sir. Just based off their defense, their seams are wide open, and just goes to Luke. Luke's throwing the open man, make the play.
What's it like to have so many downfield playmakers? You got yourself, obviously DeVicious is a great playmaker down the field. Terry
Yes, sir.
as well, just the group of receivers. What's it like to have that many playmakers?
I mean, it's always good to have him. Luke can go anywhere, and he knows it's good. And we can just always push down the field, push the ball down the field, and get where we need to go.
Luke was 21 of 23.
Mm-hmm.
Only 2 incompletions. What's it like to have a quarterback that week after week is so consistent?
He's consistent. He's a hard worker. He's probably one of the hardest workers I've been around. Weight room, field, all that. And just he's an athlete, so he's going to get the ball to where it needs to go.
What about your offensive line? Again, we see the rushing yards pile up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of players got a lot of touches.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody like the big 100-yard,
Right.
number, but all those guys are able to run. You look at these averages, right? 13.5 per carry, 12.5 per carry, 8 per carry.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say about your offensive line?
Offensive line, they're workers, they're dogs. They in the trenches, they keep going. It goes back to practice, how we practice fast. They're conditioned, and they just don't stop. They're relentless.
You guys prepare for another road trip. What did you learn on that first road trip a couple weeks back that's going to help you prepare for
We need to start. We need to start this next week like we did today. Get on them early, not coast, and finish all the way.
Excellent. Any more questions? Jalien, thank you for your time.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, Luke, another big night for you. Only
Yes,
2
sir.
incompletions, 363 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. What can you say about your night and how you were able to stay so consistent?
O-lineman. Shout out to my O-lineman. I didn't get touched the whole game. And also just worked on some I was missing in my mechanics, and I worked on it this whole week on it. And it showed because had a lot of incompletions the past couple games. Then I just had to fix like the small things in my mechanics, and it just turned out to be a really good night for me.
You guys got off to the fast start, 35 points in the first quarter, 49-0 at halftime. Why was it so important to keep your foot on the gas?
I feel like before this game, we haven't played like a full game. Like we had like 3 and outs in a couple past games. In this game, we finally like stepped up to like our standard of offense, and we ended up scoring first drive.
You guys had a lot of players with a lot of receiving yards. Obviously, you threw for 363, but DeVicious was 73 yards, Terry was 70, Grant had 72, and Jalien had 89. What's it like to have so many playmakers that can just gobble up yards when you need to?
It's really good. I'm not isolated to one receiver. All those guys are really good receivers. Get open in the open field, make their moves, get open on their defenders. So, like, those guys I'm really blessed to have, able to spread the ball around to multiple guys on the field.
You guys are now headed to Arkansas Baptist, an even longer road trip. What did you guys learn on that first road trip where you picked up a very important victory that you're going to take into the preparation for this upcoming week?
Fight through adversity. We had like a 16-hour bus drive. A lot of guys aren't used to like a bus drive. So it was different for a lot of people in that bus. But other than that, we got to overcome that. We got to win as a team. There was a lot of adversity that game, but we just overcame it.
It's the longest bus ride you've ever taken.
Yeah.
Is it that one?
Yeah, it was 16 hours.
Is it the longest one you've ever
Yeah,
taken?
that's the one.
Oh. How do you keep yourself entertained for 16 hours?
the guys on the bus, keep it very entertaining. It's always a fun time when you get to spend time with your teammates and the coaches on like a trip like that. Gets the bond very closer with the team.
Did Coach stop at breakfast burritos like he told us last week, or did you guys fly right through Flagstaff?
Oh, we flew right by. Yeah, we have burritos though. Yeah, we have burritos in the morning.
I'll say this, on social media, that first picture of the Golden Corral was pretty popular.
Yeah, the famous Golden Corral, always good.
I'll tell you what, they'll keep trying to make sure Waylon schedules you on the road. I'm sure you bring in some good dollars. So, any other questions? Luke, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, can I also?
Yes, sir.
I'm also really happy about getting all our quarterbacks on the field. Me able to do that and get everybody on the quarterback depth chart to play is truly amazing. It's just a one position on the field, so it's really hard for all of them to like compete for the spot, and for myself to still compete for the spot. For me to be able to do that and get all them guys on the field, I'm truly blessed that I was able to do that for them. I know that really like excited them to be on the field. So shout out to Jake, shout out to Kane Zordani, Connor Malt, and Aiden. It's really, really good to have those guys in the quarterback room. I truly love those guys.
Excellent. So, Luke, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Get our first offensive lineman at the table of the year.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty big. And we just talked about 40 first downs with a lot of your work and a lot of your units' work. What kind of pride do you guys take in seeing those numbers, the rush yards, the pass yards, the lack of sacks allowed, the 40 first downs? What kind of pride do you guys take?
I would say the sacks. That's the biggest one. Luke, we want to protect him. That's our little brother. So, we try our best to, finish through the whistle and, just keep him on his feet. We know he likes to run, so we have to be able to adapt to that and, finish our blocks. But sacks is definitely the biggest, and obviously rush yards. We want to, set the tone up front. I think that's a big key to our offense, especially, after big plays. It sets up the run. And, when we can run the ball, that sets up the pass also. So, the key is running and protecting Luke.
We'll look at the rush yards first and more of the yards per attempt. A lot of guys got their opportunity, got a lot of guys with different carries, but these averages are gaudy: 13.5 yards, 8.5 yards,
Wow.
Nearly 13 yards, on 4 carries for Jadon, nearly 6 yards per carry for Anthony Madison. What does that mean, and how are you guys able to open those holes, no matter who's standing back there, no matter who's running the ball?
Just honestly, it's grit. Like just driving our feet. It doesn't really matter who's in front of us. It doesn't matter, who we throw out there. We want to be able to run the ball, and that's the key to the offense. Just setting the tone up front. And me being the center, I try to tell the guys just to run, and Coach Nesbitt always tells us to move fast and get on the ball fast, and that's what I've realized these last couple games. Once we really get going, our offense, it's hard to stop. They can't stop us.
You guys were especially unstoppable in that first quarter, 35 points.
Yeah.
Why was it so important to get out to such a fast start?
Well, our offensive line coach and Coach Nesbitt, they really emphasized this week in our preparation just putting a full 4 quarters together. And there's been some games where we've started slow, or there's been some games where we ended slow. So this was a game we were back home, just coming back from that bus ride on the road in Texas. So we wanted to put a full 4 quarters. So it really started in practice, just practicing hard, practicing, like the game, right? Honestly, here practice is harder than the games. So when we get out there and practice hard, it sets us up for success on Saturdays.
With Luke, only 2 incompletions today.
Yeah.
363 yards, 4 touchdowns. What is it like to have a guy back there who is going to make the right decision and is going to get you guys down the field?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's great, Like I said, we try to just keep him up, have a clean pocket for him, and we know up front as an offensive line, if we can give him a clean pocket, he's either going to make the right decision to throw or make the right decision to run.
So now you guys get back on the road. Just spoke on that bus trip. What did you guys learn in that win at Wayland, going on the road for the first time? I know a lot of guys probably haven't experienced that road trip yet. What did you guys learn, and how are you guys going to take it into this week of preparation for Arkansas Baptist?
I learned our team has grit. You know, we're able to take a long, 12-hour bus ride and be all crammed on the bus. Just play for each other, though. I would say the team bonded very well on the trip, especially me and the O-line and the running backs. We're all in the back just, laughing the whole time, laughing about the Dodger game after the game. So I just learned our team has grit. We were able to get to a good lead at the beginning. They kind of cut it close against Wayland. But I remember that third quarter we had a drive where we ran the ball, I think 3 or 4 plays in a row. And I was telling Nesbitt that was the drive that took Wayland's hearts away. So just our ability just to pound the rock, honestly, man, I just love it. I love it.
Any other kind of questions? We're looking forward to seeing you guys run the ball and pass the ball and just move the ball next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Coach Nesbitt, another big win tonight for you, especially seeing the offense. 40 first downs, 35 points in the first quarter, 49 in the first half. With your offense, what would you say about their performance?
I think a lot of the kids that talked before, I think they hit it on the head, because that was the mission from when we got back from Wayland on Sunday, and we met. I told them, I said, listen, we have to play consistent. We're too much up and down. We play really good, and then all of a sudden you look up in the third quarter against Wayland, it's 28-21, and we're in a football game at that point when we should have had control over it, because we were playing pretty well, and we've done that all year. And so I just said we have to have a consistent tempo of play in all 3 phases, where we're playing complementary football, because overall I don't think we've been playing as good a complementary football in all 3 phases as we've done since we've been here. There's nights or sections of the game where defense plays really good, offense is slow. We don't punt the ball really good, or we have a bad kickoff cover or a bad kickoff return, where in the past years, right, offense is a little slow. Well, then we hit a pooch punt, we pin it inside the 5, defense gets a stop, then we get a short field, then we get a quick score. We haven't been doing that early in the season. Not as good as what we've done in past years. But that's not because of poor coaching or players not being there. I think it's just the youth of a group, right? And then, so tonight, that was really our mission, was to get started fast offensively, have the game plan where the guys could really execute it and get going quick. And we told them all week, it was just how fast can they get lined up to play and then go. And they did it. And then you saw the tempo of play, and I thought it was the same thing defensively. We had talked about that too. Just because they're checking the ball at the line of scrimmage and they got a ton of motion, don't slow down your tempo, because they're going to play slow to try to, when they snap it, go as violent and as fast as you guys can. And I think that's where we got to, except for one kickoff cover where they had a big kickoff return and then a couple of those. But other than that, I thought it was a pretty consistent game.
And you guys, like you said, it was consistent. You stayed consistent all the way through.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of guys, a lot of action.
Yeah.
We talked about 4 quarterbacks getting in the game. Very many players running the ball here. I think if you look, it's 10 guys took rushing attempts.
Yeah.
Luke's very good about spreading the ball around. Why was that important to get, especially on the offensive side?
Well, you think about it, right? You got almost 200 guys in a football program, right? You got a group of these running backs like Andrew Milady. Okay, we could talk about Andrew Milady. He had 5 carries for 6 yards. Andrew Milady works at a local Mexican food restaurant part-time, has a part-time job, goes to school here. He never has missed a workout since he's been here. And he's probably the 7th or 8th running back in the room. And he shows up every day in the summer. And he shows up every single day, right? And so for a guy like him to get a play and get to be active and all that, to me, and he's just one of them, because there was probably multiple guys across this whole team that, they pay a lot of money to go to school here. They sacrifice a lot, working nights, working part-time jobs to be here. And those guys get into a game, the group of quarterbacks, every one of those quarterbacks come every day in the summer. They're here all the time. Weights, running, whatever they're asked to do, right? And so, Brady at outside wide receiver, I could go down the list of guys offensively and defensively. The whole offensive line group played tonight, right? I mean, because those kids deserve it, right? And I think and they played well, because they didn't play very good when we put them in against Texas College, and I got mad at them because I was like, you don't just get to go out there and play bad football. You don't just get to go out there and take losses and sacks or give up a big play defensively just because you're out there. You should be out there to show that you're a really good football player because you practice hard. And so some of that stuff is really neat. And then what I like, though, is just that it's not really balanced, but it's a ton of guys getting touches that can score for us, right? And we've done that in the past, receivers, running backs, where our all-purpose yardage is high. And so we're starting to get some of that back, which is good to see Luke and those other quarterbacks spreading the ball around to a bunch of different people.
Start with Luke. 21 of 23, only 2 incompletions.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns. He takes care of the ball again. No interceptions.
Yeah.
I believe he hasn't thrown an interception at home.
Whoa. We're on the road next week. Okay. Now we're good. No, I think he's done a great job. You know, I think that's always been, since Luke's taken over at that quarterback position, checking us into good plays, getting us out of bad plays that I call, put us in a good situation, and then throwing balls where they need to be thrown and throwing good completions and having the courage to throw it where we need to throw it, you know. And I think, and the best thing is that guy a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, he knew he wasn't throwing the ball good enough. He knew it. And so Tuesday night, he stood over there on his own, and anytime he wasn't involved, he probably did drill work for 35 minutes on his own. And I could see him over there just doing it. And he was doing footwork drills, he was doing bag drills, he was shortening his stride, he was looking at his mechanics, he was coming in and watching tape, right? Well, that's hard for guys to, you know, we all say it, right? It's not human nature to admit, I'm not playing good, I'm not doing a good enough job, and go, okay, coaches are telling me that, but then I got to admit it, and then I got to try to fix it. That's where Luke has been over the top as our quarterback here right now, is he's always willing to figure out why he's not doing a good job and admit it and go, okay, I got to get better at this. You know, I mean, he probably wouldn't like me to tell it, but this was probably before we went to Wayland Baptist. We come in on Wednesday morning and we meet as a staff at 6 a.m. and we do third downs on Wednesdays. Luke and Terry were on the field at 5:15, 5:30 in the morning when the lights came on for women's soccer practice, and he threw for 45 minutes on his own, on every throw that he hadn't been completing for the first half of the season. That's when you know you might have the right guy in that room, right? That's when you know. And the team sees it, right? And, you know, they thank him for it and the whole deal, but everybody should kind of like look at it and go, there's a reason why he plays good. Because when he's not playing good, I didn't have to tell him to come in and throw. I didn't tell him anything. He walked out there and they threw every ball that morning that he wasn't throwing good. And he got better, you know, and so hopefully we can keep doing it, but it's good. We got a lot of guys. Isiah Cotton's another one. We got a lot of guys. Arvell Ferguson, Nano. We got a lot of guys that put in that extra time that are making this team grow. And, you know, it goes all the way back to 17, 18, 19. Those guys did the same thing, but the leadership and all that and kind of the history or whatever you want to call it, the guys just keep doing it and they keep getting better. So it's neat to see.
What can you say about your offensive line, specifically your tackles, right? Had an injury, so you moved Mark over to the left side.
Yeah.
Like Cameron in.
Yeah.
How did those tackles adjust to what they
Well, no, I think Mark's done a great job. You know, he's not real natural playing left. He doesn't probably like it as much as he likes playing right. And then Cam coming in as a true freshman is playing really, really good. You know, and I think that's something neat to see because we knew kind of going into the year we were going to be probably 4 deep. Worst case scenario, maybe 5 deep of all returners in the O-line, which is a great thing to see. And then we have a good young freshman left guard that steps up and he's playing fantastic right now for us, you know. But here's another one, right? That's another guy here every day in the summer, lifting weights, running in the weight room with our guys. And so his success was earned all the way. Same thing with Cam. Once Cam signed with us, he jumped on board and Cam was lucky enough to play behind some pretty good guys at the beginning of fall camp. So grows a little bit and gets better. And so it's exciting to see those freshmen. But that O-line is doing a fantastic job. Pass protection, I think going in to last week, we had 6 sacks out of 200 and some pass attempts. So I think we're 1 out of every 35 pass attempts we're giving up a sack. And so tonight, I think we had 1, right? And we threw the ball for X amount of time. So, I mean, those guys are probably going to be averaging less than 1.5 sacks for probably 35 or 40 throws, right? Which is really good. So that's what you want. I don't know if Luke got out of the pocket on that one in the first half. If he didn't, and we didn't have any sacks tonight, well, there you go. I mean, that's a whole night, which, you know, Coach Womack and Coach Ganote and Coach Johnson with those running backs are doing a great job. You know, we spend a lot of time on it, but it's to be who we are. They've got to be great pass pros, and they're doing a good job with it.
Yeah, no sacks allowed tonight,
Yeah.
at least on the books.
That's good.
A guy that got on the books 3 times for a sack is Arvell.
Heck yeah.
What do you say about his performance? He got on the field a little bit later in the season.
Yeah.
He stepped right in.
No, see, Arvell's another one, right? You know, and this is kind of could be the statement to all those guys that want to be a good player around here, right? Arvell's another one. Stayed here all summer, got a part-time job, worked every day, didn't miss a weight workout, didn't miss a running workout, was here all the time, getting after it, and knocked off the rust from last year, and now look how he's playing. I mean, he's playing like a dominant force that everybody on defense thought he was going to be, and really what he should be, right? He's that type of player. He's got great energy, super positive at practice, and like he said when he got up here, our guys go against each other every day. So when Marco Bannon and Cam and all those old linemen have to block guys like Arvell and Nano every day, well, we're going to get better. And Arvell's going to get better because he's playing against good offensive linemen every day. And so that kind of that competition and that fight, they're helping each other out. And so Arvell's hard work and what he's done for our team and our program right now is awesome for a guy like him because, you know, coming in and being a new player last year, you never know what's going to happen for a guy. And it, you know, kind of stuck in neutral a little bit, right? And couldn't get going a little as good as he wanted. And he was frustrated last year. And now all of a sudden, it's the hard work, man. The hard work's paying off for a guy like Arvell, and it's happy to see him do it.
You mentioned a guy like Nano.
Yeah.
It seems like every time you look in the box score, a guy like that, a defensive tackle, he's always plugging the middle for as many tackles as he's able to
Heck
get.
yeah.
What kind of player is he for that?
Just vertical push. You know, he gets off the ball, gets upfield, creates a double team, right? And those double teams are helping out Cotton. You know, it's clearing an extra gap for an extra backer. And that's probably the stuff that nobody sees, right? Is that dirty work in the stat room of having to pull a double, having to get an extra down block, taking maybe 2 O linemen with him, and then a backer's going to be able to get into the play. And he's another one, right? Just good, consistent effort and being physical.
You look at Isiah Cotton, 2.5 tackles for loss.
Yeah.
Tonight, the pick 6.
Yep.
What does he mean tonight?
You know, Isiah Cotton, just a bunch of different stuff, right? I mean, tonight, his performance and the whole deal, but Isiah Cotton has had a heck of a week, right? I get 2 emails about Isiah Cotton, right? And so Isiah Cotton played great, a touchdown, the whole deal. But if I was his dad and family and him, he got an email this week from a professor telling me how good of a kid he is in class, how productive he is, how engaged he is, how good of a student he is, how he's always coming up with good questions, how he creates thought in class, right? And then he comes out and does it on the field. Another guy, right? Never misses, dedicated to the team, just like Luke, right? Something's not going right. He's in there with Coach D every day watching extra tape, coming up watching film on his own, taking notes, padding plays. And then he's doing a great job in the classroom too. Well, it goes both, right? When you know how to work hard, you know how to be dedicated here to this craft, to the classroom, to the academic part, good things are going to happen for you just because you're a hard worker, right? And I think that's what you're seeing from Isiah Cotton. And he's been a great leader. He's helped our defense. He's helped those young guys in that room, but he's created a good vibe on that team on that side of the ball about just how to play hard. Right? And so now you got a guy like Cotton, you got a guy like Luke, and we're all kind of feeding off everybody a little bit right now, and there's a ton of good energy, so it's fun to see.
Isiah was one of 4 players to get interceptions.
Yeah.
You see the pass breakups all over this, all over this page. What is it like to have those guys making plays on the ball?
Shoot, they're just active, right? I mean, they're active to the football, they're aggressive to it. I think that's the that's the thing, right? And they're playing some really good coverage, and they're doing some good stuff. That's some new stuff for us on defense that they're improving at over time, and just them being aggressive, not sitting back and being aggressive to the ball is good to see. And then we just need a couple more tip balls from those D linemen. We need some tips from D linemen out there and some interceptions from those D linemen. I got a little side bet with some coaches, so I need some help from my D line. If the D line can get me some tips and picks, I'll take care of you guys next couple weeks.
Well, you guys will have plenty of opportunity next week. You hit the road again.
Yeah.
What did you guys learn about that first road trip? I know for a lot of guys it was their first time making a ride that long.
Yeah.
What did you guys learn? And how
You know,
you
I
apply
think
it?
it's good. I do. I think the road trip, I always wish we would travel. Sometimes I like when we travel early in the season. I really do. Even last year, even though, you know, our schedule, however that was made up last year, was convenient for some. We were on a bus or a plane for the whole month of September every weekend. But that team got close really quick, right? Because you're in and out of airports, you're in and out of the Golden Corral, you're doing all that stuff, you're riding on a bus together all over the place. I think it kind of gets you a little tighter and a little closer, and you know, I think it's kind of that exciting part too, to go on the road, and you probably have 8 fans on your side, and you're looking across, and everybody's parents and faculty and student body are over there rooting against you, and it can kind of create a buzz. And you know, and I think our university does a great job for us too. They help us the way we travel. They take care of our guys really well when we're on the road. You know, I mean, we're not eating and staying at the Ritz-Carlton and eating at Ruth Chris every night too, but our guys are taken care of in a good form, in a good fashion, and I think it's fun. And then I always look at it too, that it's fun to get away and play someplace else. I think that's the fun part of college football, right? You're going to go on a road. Like how many of our guys that are going to travel next week have ever been to Little Rock, Arkansas? Maybe 3 out of the whole coaches and players, right? How many guys? And so they're going to see a different part of the country, even though it's going to be a quick trip. You know, I mean, it'd be kind of neat if we could do some different things when we got there, but it'll be fun going someplace else and seeing some different things and different environments, and I think it's good. You know, shoot, the bus ride's not all bad. Those guys, they're okay. They sleep on the floor and they do whatever they got to do to survive, so it's good.
Final question here.
Coach Alex Duftin, OUAZspirit.com, representing all of the fans of OUAZ football. This is favorite part of my night. I'm sure this is a very little known fact to all of our listeners, but you happen to be what many might consider a green hatch chili maniac. so much that you recently ordered like cases or boxes, right? Can you tell us a little bit about your obsession with the green hatch chili, please?
Okay, so growing up in New Mexico, so we moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico when I was 8 years old. So for the majority of my young life and adulthood, playing and growing up in Albuquerque, if you live in New Mexico, you're going to eat green or red chili on everything you get, from your cheeseburgers to your huevos rancheros in the morning, to you're going to get green and red, and you might get at Christmas, but you're going to have red or green chili on everything you get. So, you know, and it's pretty neat. And so in my hometown, where I grew up in Belen, New Mexico, the rival game was Belen versus Las Lunas, and the winner of that got a chili roaster at the year. It was a big chili roaster because at the time of year in September, August and September in New Mexico was chili roasting season. So every grocery store, every market you go to, every butcher, wherever you go, your church, whatever you're at, there's probably somebody with a roaster roasting green chilies. And you can buy your own green chili, take it in there, and they'll roast it. And then everybody freezes it, right? So from the time that I could remember, right, we had it in our house as a kid growing up. And then when I started dating my wife, my mother-in-law had it always at her house. Her grandma had it. And so whenever you wanted a bag of green chili, you could always get green chili. So speed it up, we move here. And we had a security guard. And I want to say her name was Phyllis. And she was great. She was one of our first security guards when we got here. Well, her and her husband every year would go to Hatch to get green chili. And so this was our 2017 season. And so she went and she brought back 2 bags of green chili for me. So it was like 100 pounds of green chili. And we were working out of City Hall at this time. So I had it up there in City Hall, and Mike Hoover and another gentleman by the name of Mike Blublay, one of the city planners and a water guy, came by one day and they were like, you got to get that chili out of here. It smells horrible because it's going ripe, right? So Mike Bublay's dad had a chili roaster. So we went over to his house, and the deal was on a Friday night, he roasted the chili for us. I had to give some of it, okay? So speed it up to now. I have been begging for a chili roaster from Miss Nesbitt, Mama Nesbitt, for years. And a few years back, we moved some stuff and some furniture from my mother-in-law's house back here, and it was snowing, so we had to go south through Tucson, right? Well, you go I-25 south and you cut across through Las Creek. Hatch is right there, and they sell them all over the place. U-Haul, empty almost. They still got denied. So this year, we always order. So last year, we ordered like 65, 75 pounds of chili, had it delivered, and my wife would roast it in the oven, which is hard. It's not a great, it smells great, but it's tough work on her part. So finally this year I broke her down, just constant, kind of like the kids, right? Just wear them out. If I wear Coach Nesbitt out, maybe he'll let us wear those crazy shorts or hats or whatever, right? So finally she gave in. We bought a chili roaster, and our first weekend we ordered 80 pounds, 75, 80 pounds of chili, had it at the house. I sat out on my back porch and I roasted all the chili, and we peeled it and froze it and have it ready. So we're set. We got our green chili cheeseburgers, our chicken enchiladas, our eggs in the morning. We got it. We got a bunch. So it's good. It's pretty good. And then we'll have it all the way through Christmas. And then my mother-in-law is finally teamed up with everybody else in the house, and she helps. So we make tamales every Christmas. And so we get together and we make tamales every Christmas. And it's kind of funny because as being the only white person in the whole family, and I'm the only one that likes making the tamales, me and my mother-in-law, it's pretty good. So I've got them going. So I don't know how much, but it's good. No, so I love green chili, I love red chili, and it's probably just where I grew up. If you live in Albuquerque, or New Mexico, you're gonna always have it on your food, some form or fashion. Like I even tell the coaches, stop at Blake's Slaughterburger on the way in the morning, get yourself a breakfast burrito, get one, eggs, bacon, red chili, then get yourself a sausage, egg, potato, and green, and you're going to be set for the rest of the day. You got a good one. There you go.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Get your chili roaster out.
I'm excited for that.
My freezer still smells like chili. It does, because it's still so fresh.